Hello, good morning students. So we'll continue with the next part of joints, that is synovial joint. So we have already covered about the two different types of joint, that is the fibrous and cartilaginous joint. So in that we covered that there is no synovial cavity and hence there is no movement. So the unique feature of this type of joint is presence of this synovial cavity. So what you can see here is full synovial cavity. So the function of the synovial cavity is that it allows considerable movement at a joint. So this joint comes under functional classification of joint. The bones at the synovial joints are covered by layer of hyaline cartilage called articular cartilage. So they are covered by cartilage called articular cartilage. So articular cartilage, it reduces the friction between bones in the joint during movement and help absorb the shock. So the characteristic of this synovial joint is that it consists of articular capsule. What you can say over here, this is the articular capsule. So it surrounds the synovial joint, encloses the synovial cavity and unites the articulating bone. So it will unite these two bones. So it consists of fibrous capsule or fibrous membrane and synovial membrane. So inside this articular capsule is something called as a synovial fluid. Inside the articular capsule we have a synovial fluid. So we'll see now the features of the fibrous membrane. So this membrane usually consists of dense irregular connective tissue, which are mostly collagen fibers. Due to presence of these collagen fibers, it makes it flexible. Flexibility of fibrous membrane, so it will permit considerable movement at the joints. The fibers of the membrane are arranged in such a way that they form parallel bundles. The strength of this fiber bundle is called as a ligament and is one of the principal mechanism factor that holds the bone of synovial joint. Next is synovial membrane. What you can see over here, this part is the synovial membrane and the outside membrane is fibrous membrane or fibrous capsule. So this synovial membrane, it forms the inner layer of this capsule. It forms the inner layer of this capsule. So it is composed of areolar connective tissue with elastic fiber. Synovial membrane include accumulation of adipose tissue called articular pets. So the example of this is, that is articular pets, is the knee. Moving on to another component which is present in the articular capsule, which is again very important and is required for the movements of joints, that is synovial fluid. So this fluid is a viscous, clear or pale yellow fluid which is named for its similarity in appearance and consistency to this uncooked egg white. So it consists of hyaluronic acid. So this acid is secreted by synovial cells which are present in the synovial membrane and interstitial fluid. So it consists of two components, hyaluronic acid and interstitial fluid. So the function of the synovial fluid, which plays very important role, is it reduces the friction by lubricating the joints, absorbing the shocks and supplying oxygen and nutrients to and removing the carbon dioxide and metabolic waste. So it supplies oxygen, nutrients, carbon dioxide removes and other waste. It also contains phagocytic cells. So now phagocytic cells, so that will remove microbes and debris that reside from the normal wear and tear in the joints. So when this synovial joints, when it is immobile for time, if it is not moving, it has not moved for certain period of time, then the fluid which is present, that is the synovial fluid which is present in between the joint, it will become more viscous because it has not moved for certain period of time. So it will form like a gel, but as it starts moving, it will increase its viscosity and fluid will become less viscous. So it will again come back to its normal state. So one of the benefit that whenever you all are doing any kind of activity, like you all are playing a football or a cricket, we usually warm up our body first. So this is one reason. So it stimulates the production and secretion of synovial fluid. So it will become viscous. So that in turn prevent any stress on the joint during playing or during any exercise. Next is type of synovial joint. So we have different types of joint which are moving because of presence of this synovial fluid in them. So first one is a plane joint. As the name indicates, both the surfaces of the bone are plane. Then we have a hinge joint, pivot joint, condyloid joint. Then we have a gliding joint, saddle joint and ball and socket joint. So now we'll see each one in detail. So the first joint is a plane joint. So in plane joint, the articulating surfaces, they are either plane that is they are more or less plane, that is flat, or else they are slightly curved. So this plane joint primarily permit back and forth slide to slide movement between the flat surfaces of bones. That is, they permit gliding movement in various directions. That is, they rotate against one another. So where are these joints found? So they are mostly found in the intercarpal joint or intertarsal joint. That is a joint between the articular process of adjacent vertebra. So they are found in the intercarpal joint. Then we have a intertarsal joint. Then articular process of adjacent vertebra and sternoclavicle joint. So it will be, the joint will be between sternum and clavicle bone. Next is hinge joint. In hinge joint, the convex surface of one bone fits the concave surface of another bone. So in most joint movement, one bone remains in a fixed position while the other move around its axis. So it is usually called as a monoaxial bone because it allows motion around a single axis. That is, only one bone remains in a fixed position and the next one rotate around its axis. So it permits only extension and flexion. So this type of joints are found in the knee joint. Then we have a elbow joint, then ankle and interphalangeal joint. Next we have a pivot joint. So it allows rotation only around its own longitudinal axis. That is, rotation around its axis. So the joint work by the end of one bone having a peg which fits into the ring which is formed by other bone, as you can see in this diagram. So this joint is also monoaxial, that is uniaxial like a hinge joint, because it allows rotation only around its own longitudinal axis. So the example is the pivotal joint at the top of the spinal column between the axis and the atlas bone of the neck. So it allows us to turn, raise and lower our head. So this is crucial in controlling the balance and maintaining the awareness. Next is condyloid joint. So this is another joint where the convex oval shape projection of one bone fits into the oval shaped depression of another bone. Now this joint is biaxial because it allows the movement around two axes. So that is flexion and extension. Now we'll come to see what is flexion and extension. And second axis is abduction and adduction. So because it around the movement in two axes. So the example is the wrist joint. You can see wrist joint. Next we have a gliding joint. So it allows flexion and extension through a slight gliding motion between the end of the small bones such as hands and feet. So the small bones can move over one another to increase the flexibility of the hand and feet. So it will increase the flexibility of the feet and wrist bone, that is hand. Strong ligaments link them together and stop them moving too far. Next we have a saddle joint. So here also concave and convex surfaces meets. Concave and convex surfaces meet. So these joints allows the movement of joint forward and backward and right to the left. These movements of saddle joint are similar to that of condyloid joint because it is also biaxial, that is the joint is also biaxial because it allows the movement in two axes, that is flexion, extension and abduction and adduction. So the example of the joint is fingers and thumbs. Next joint is ball and socket joints. This is a very common joint which everyone must be aware of. So of all the joints in the body, the ball and socket joint allows the greatest range of movement. So in this type of joint, one end of the bone is shaped like a ball and it feeds into the hollow socket at the end of another joint. So if you consider the example of this, that is shoulder, this ball of this arm bone, that is a humerus will feed into this hollow region of shoulder blade. Another example of this is a hip joint, that is the ball of the femur will feed into the socket of this hip, that is pelvic girdle. So they are held together by ligaments and tendons. So we'll see now the last part is type of joint movement. So there are 6 different kinds of movement that joint can allow, that is extension, flexion, then we have abduction, adduction, circumduction and rotation. So extension is straightening or extending a limb. So when you it will increase the angle between the two body parts. So extension, it increases the angle between two body parts. So remember this, it increases the angle between two body parts. Whereas flexion is bending or flexing a limb, that is closing a joint, so that will decrease the angle between the two body parts. Can have a closed look or you can compare the difference in this, that is flexion and extension. It decreases the angle, that is it decreases the angle and it increases the angle. Next is abduction. So moving a limb away from the center line of the body. So if you are holding your hand, so if you are hanging a hand without doing it is in rest position. And if you just move your hand towards your head, that is you are lifting your hand towards your head, that will be abduction, that is moving a limb away from the center line of the body. Rotation, so this is a turning or rotational movement of the limb of the body part. So the best example will be head. Yeah, you can move your head or rotate your head towards the left, right, or in a circular direction. Next is circumduction. So this is the ability of the limb to be moved in a circle. So the best example will be your hand. So you can move your hand. The best example in this case will be you can move your hand in circular direction with the help of ball and socket joints help in the movement of your hand in circular direction. And the next is adduction, that is moving a limb towards the center line of the body. So abduction is moving away from your body, and adduction is now bringing back your hand in the hanging position, that is in rest position. So you can see the difference between abduction and adduction, that is it is moving away from the body, your hand, and now it is adduction is bringing back. Hyperextension, so it is the excess extension of the parts at the joint, so beyond the anatomical position, that is bending the head neck beyond the upright position, as you can see in this diagram. So this is flexion, then this is extension, that is bringing your head in the straight position. As you can see in the flexion, it decreases the angle, it decreases the angle, it increases, and hyperextension is that it increases. So it is also, you can say this is in straight position also. Then we have a dorsiflexion, that is bending the foot at the ankle towards the chin, that is bending the foot upward. And in plantar flexion, we have bending the foot at the ankle towards the, so this is extra one, towards the sole, that is bending the foot downward. You can clearly see in this diagram, upward, this is downward. Yeah. So we are done with the joints. The synovial joint is very important as far as exams are concerned. So with this we are done with the joints. Thank you.